On July 22, 1934, America's most wanted man was gunned down outside a Chicago movie theater. The FBI declared victory. The case was closed. The country exhaled. But almost immediately, something didn't feel right. The body looked wrong. The scars didn't match. Even the fingerprints raised questions. And whispers began to spread. What if the man lying in the morgue wasn't John Dillinger at all? What if America's most infamous criminal didn't die that night, but disappeared instead? John Dillinger wasn't just a criminal, it was a phenomenon. During the Great Depression, Dillinger robbed banks across the Midwest, often without harming civilians. At a time when banks symbolized hardship, many Americans saw him not as a villain, but as a rebel. He escaped prison multiple times once. Using a wooden gun, he mocked law enforcement, outran entire task forces. J. Edgar Hoover labeled him Public Enemy Number 1, a title created largely because of Dillinger. By 1934, Hoover needed a win, and Dillinger needed to disappear. The FBI's hunt for John Dillinger was relentless. For months, every raid failed, every informant vanished, and every lead went cold. Desperate, Dillinger even burned his own fingerprints off with acid, a painful sign that he knew his time was running out. He could feel the walls closing in, the net tightening around him. Then, a breakthrough. A woman, forever known as the Lady in Red, made a call. She told the authorities that Dillinger would be at the Biograph Theater in Chicago to watch a movie. The stage was set for the final showdown. On the evening of July 22, 1934, Dillinger walked out of the Biograph Theater. Within seconds, FBI agents opened fire. He was struck multiple times, collapsed onto the sidewalk, dead at the scene. Also, the official report claimed, crowds gathered, photographs were taken, the body was transported to the morgue. Hoover announced the end of America's most notorious criminal. But almost immediately, people who knew Dillinger noticed something strange. Those close to Dillinger observed inconsistencies. The corpses I colored didn't match Dillinger's. Known scars were missing. The height and weight were off. Facial features appeared different. Even Dillinger's own father reportedly hesitated before identifying the body at the time. Fingerprint analysis was far from perfect, and Hoover was under intense pressure to cement the FBI's authority. The narrative was too important to challenge. The body was declared Dillinger. The case was sealed. Over the years, a theory gained traction. Dillinger had arranged a body double. A man resembling him, possibly a petty criminal or drifter, was killed in his place. Dillinger, meanwhile, slipped away. Supporters of this theory point to Dillinger's history of elaborate escapes, his knowledge of law enforcement tactics, his fingerprint-altering attempts. Witnesses claiming Dillinger had plastic surgery. Sightings were reported in South America. Others claimed he lived quietly in the Midwest under a new name. No claim was ever confirmed, but none were fully disproven either. Ever heard the saying, "The silence speaks volumes"? Well, in the case of legendary bank robber John Dillinger, the silence is deafening, officially. He was gunned down by the FBI outside a Chicago theater in 1934. Case closed, right? But here's where the story gets really bizarre. What makes this case especially disturbing is what didn't happen. No autopsy photos were ever fully released to the public. The man who was shot had brown eyes. Dillinger's were gray. The fingerprints were smudged and inconclusive. And no DNA testing was performed not then. And not even decades later, when the technology became available, requests to exhume the body for a modern forensic analysis have been repeatedly blocked. You have to wonder, why? If the FBI was so certain they got their man, why not prove it beyond a shadow of a doubt? As forensic science advanced, the mystery only deepened, and the official story started to look less and less convincing. In recent years, historians and even members of the Dillinger family pushed hard for that DNA test. The goal was simple, and the debate once and for all. But they were met with legal challenges, government resistance, and endless delays that stopped the process cold. Once again, the truth remained buried literally. What do you think really happened that night? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for more unsolved mysteries. Like D.B. Cooper, this case exists between history and legend, a bold criminal, a dramatic final act, conflicting evidence, an official story many question, no definitive proof. Either Dillinger died that night, or he pulled off the greatest escape of his life, history tells. U.S. John Dillinger died outside a movie theater in 1934. But history isn't always written by truth. Sometimes it's written by convenience. Until the body is proven beyond doubt, John Dillinger's fate remains one of the most twisted mysteries an American see. Rhyme history.